So, Dr. Zogby, would you agree that there are physical constraints facing your organization in the sense that the number of Arab Americans is much less than Jewish Americans? Their presence in the mass media, whether it's television or newspapers, in the academic world, is much lesser. Now, how do you expect a lesser number of Arab Americans to combat an very effective Jewish machinery in America on all levels, political, academic, press, television? For example, this is a tangent question. The Intifada is being portrayed less and less on American television simply because of the control by the Jewish Americans over the mass media. Now, what program do you have to combat this phenomenon, and how do you expect to ever reach a stage where you can be on par in terms of effect, on par with the Jewish lobby groups?
Well, number one, a number of points I have to make. First of all, the relative difference in the numbers in our communities is not important in a real sense. All Jews are not unified in their support of Israel. The debate within the Jewish community is growing. And in fact, a significant number of American Jews, almost a half, are kind of dropouts to the whole organized sense of Jewish organization. I can remember a big march I participated in a number of years ago, Civil Rights and Peace March, that included Arab Americans and Middle East issues. The organized Jewish community said, we won't march and no Jews will march. There were tens of thousands of American Jews who marched with us, calling for peace in the Middle East, who marched with the Salvadorians, calling for human rights in El Salvador, marched with the environmentalists, and marched with blacks, and marched with everyone else. American Jews are a political constituency, a part of the American fabric of society that are spread throughout the society and are not controlled by the Israel lobby. There is a profound difference between the Israel lobby and American Jews. Number two, Jews do not control the media in America. There are a lot of American Jews who've gone into that area of work, especially into films. But we find that the press in America is a democratic press. When we have a good story, they report a good story. The Intifada was a good story and still is a good story. In the beginning, it was a daily fact of life in America. We saw more on television about the Intifada than maybe any political event up till that time. One of the reasons it's been eclipsed in the media is the events in Romania, the events in Panama, the events in Eastern Europe in general, and other world developments that have, in different periods of time, gained greater prominence for a period of time. But the Intifada is still there. Bishop Tutu's visit to Jerusalem was widely covered and given central coverage in America. As we do things that create a good story, we get good coverage. An example, very recently, some elements in David Dinkins' mayoral campaign in New York, some elements in his campaign wanted us excluded because they said if the Arab Americans are in, we'll lose Jewish votes. That was a story. Our protest against that and our work to get into that campaign was a story for 5 solid days in the New York City news media. We became a central issue in New York because some people tried to exclude us. So there isn't control. We have an ability to move. And I think that if as we continue to project more dramatic ways of bringing our cause to the center stage, we'll win media attention and support in America. If there were a mass mobilization of Palestinians and Jordanians and people of goodwill in this country, for example, marching to the border, bringing solidarity movements from around the world, a Jesse Jackson, a Lech Walesa, a Bishop Tutu here, to the border, saying, let our people in, we want to pray in Jerusalem, we want to go home, we would find the world media would focus on that. It would become the Wenceslas Square or the Berlin Wall of the 1990 era. We need to find dramatic ways of going to the media as those young kids in the occupied territories went to the media and challenged the media, and the media responded. But just so many days in a row you can cover kids throwing stones. We need to up the ante and come up with new and more dramatic ways of bringing this issue forward. And as we do, the media will respond, and we will win.